Good evening. The special call session on September 1st, 2016 of the City Council will now be called to order. First item of business is citizen comment. I have one speaker card. Jeremiah Hunter.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, Mr. Bonds. I'm Jeremiah Hunter, 314 East Twilight Drive. Just had a quick couple of items to comment on. First, something I've been meaning to actually ask for a while is I would like the council to consider that before your regular meetings, in addition to doing the pledge to the United States flag, would you also start doing the pledge to the Texas flag? After all, it is the state of Texas that charters the city's government, not the United States government, so just something to think about. I will be speaking during the public hearing on the proposed budget, so I'll leave that for the appropriate time. I was initially coming up here because I saw on the budget item C that there was a motion to ratify a property tax increase. I was just set straight by Ms. Cohen that that was actually dealing with revenue, not a tax rate increase, because I remember in Mr. Willard's presentation, which was excellent, he said no tax rate increases, and then here I see tax increase. So we've worked that out, and I appreciate her help. I wanted to speak on budget item 3E, which is a resolution establishing city fees and charges. I just wanted to make a note real quick. Something I was made aware of a little bit ago, and actually it was through the city's Twitter account, was that there is a $50 fee annually for monitored alarm systems required within the city limits. And I wanted to ask for the council to repeal that fee because basically it's really bad optics for the city to say for someone to have a monitored alarm system within the city requires the government's permission. Basically you're saying you have to have the government's permission to protect your home. That's completely wrong. It's really bad optics. And the other side of that is that it's a $50 fee, but then it says for the first 3 false alarms where the police department responds to, there is no charge. You don't get charged a response fee until the 4th false alarm. So my thing is, how many people, and I guess I would need to speak to Chief Bishop about this, but how many people actually get more than 3 false alarms in a year? Now, if it's a big problem, if I can be shown that it's a big problem, well, then okay, we can talk further about that. But I would say if there needs to be a response fee per response, that's fine. But to just say, hey, before anything happens, you need to give us $50 a year. It's just really bad optics, and I think the city needs to repeal that fee. And I appreciate your consideration of that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. No other speaker cards? Anyone else like to speak? Thank you very much. We'll now be to a public hearing on proposed budget. Consider the fiscal year 2016-2017 budget. Ms. Cohen.
Thank you, and good evening. The state statute, along with the city charter, requires a public hearing be held on the city's proposed budget to ensure the opportunity for public feedback at this time.
This item requires a public hearing, which is now open. Any speakers or discussion? Yes, sir.
Jeremiah Hunter, 314 East Twilight Drive. I am here to speak in support of the proposed fiscal year 2016-2017 budget. I think it's a fair budget considering the times for the city, the pressures that we are under having to do with revenue as well as the expenses of basic city government. And so I would like to offer my support of the budget as stated with the provision that there is no tax rate increase that is proposed between now and the time when you actually vote on it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else, please? Public hearing is now closed. We will consider an ordinance adopting the fiscal year 2016-2017 annual operating budget. Ms. Cohen.
Thank you. There have been no changes to the original requested budget as presented by the city manager. Approval of this ordinance will appropriate the funds for the FY 16-17 budget, and I can answer any questions at this time.
Any questions, Ms. Cohen? Thank you so much.
Move to approve the budget for 2016-17.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So that was our C. We just considered a motion to ratify.
No, that was B.
Oh, that was B. Okay. Consider a motion to ratify the property tax increase reflecting the fiscal year 2016-2017 budget. Ms. Cohen.
When a budget will raise more revenue from property taxes than the prior year, a separate vote of the governing body to ratify the property tax is required by the local government code.
I move to ratify the property tax increase reflected in the fiscal year 2016-2017 budget.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Have a public hearing on the proposed tax rate. Ms. Cohen.
This is the second of the 2 required public hearings. The proposed tax rate totals 50.99 cents. This is not a tax rate increase for this budget. The vote to adopt the tax rate will be on Thursday, September 8th at 300 West Cotton.
This requires a public hearing, which is now open. Any speakers? Mr. Hunter.
Jeremiah Hunter, 314 East Twilight Drive. I'm here to speak in support of the proposed tax rate, provided that between now and September 8th, that tax rate is somehow not increased. Thank you very much.
Any other speakers? Public hearing is now closed. We'll consider a resolution establishing the city fees and charges for fiscal year 2016-2017. Ms. Cohen.
This ordinance authorizes the FY 16-17 fee structure that has been presented to council, and I can answer any questions at this time.
Any questions, Ms. Cohen?
I do have one question, and this probably goes more to Scott, but back when we did the food unit, the mobile food trucks, we increased the fee from $25 to $50 per day. And I was just wondering how the food trucks, if they've impacted the concession stands at all. That was a big concern at the time, and I was just wondering if you've seen anything along those lines or if the food trucks have even been going into the park.
We have not had any food trucks in any of the parks, and I actually just sent an email to Mr. Moore today because when all of this was discussed earlier this year, he had asked for a report from the associations as well as our park concession stands relating to their operations, comparing the last 2 years to this year and the impact that the food trucks may have. And so I sent an email to all the associations today and asked them to have that information to me by October 15th. And so then we'll be able to compile that and be able to get that to you guys. So, but at this time, I don't see any changes to how anything has been affected.
Well, hasn't been a food truck in the park, so I guess shouldn't impact it at all yet.
No, sir.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Then this, yes, move to approve. Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. This meeting is adjourned.